Hello everyone and welcome to Electric City Wiffle. It's your boy, Mitch Hipshooter, back in the studio to bring you the highlights from Slate 5, which includes the DX vs Smash Bros series, as well as Arm Barn battling the Untouchables. But first, we ask that you please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, where we upload new videos every Thursday. And if you want to follow us on our socials, the links to those will be in the description box below. As we peep the standings coming into Slate 5, we see that this first series between DX and Smash Bros. Is a battle of the top two teams, with huge implications on the line for the top overall seed, as well as the Power Surge belt. And as we hop into Game 1, we knew Josh Longo would take the mound for Smash Bros, but the Game 1 starter for DX was still TBD. The first inning wasn't all smooth sailing for Smash Bros. Despite Josh retiring the first two batters, he had to work around a Steve Tozzi single and a walk to Corey Kane before getting Sean Ryan to ground a third to end the frame and post a zero. The Game 1 starter for DX was revealed as Corey Kane. The reigning pitcher of the year has had a very rough start to this season, and in that vein, his first inning would be a complete roller coaster. After 3 walks to start the inning, Kane got Austin Bean Zulo to strike out for out number 1, then gave up a single to Josh Longo to bring in a run, before getting Zach Longo to ground into a potential inning-ending double play. Unfortunately for DX, Sean Ryan missed, but Corey would get another chance just 2 pitches later to escape, but fell victim to the bobbling bug that has suddenly been running through the entire league. That mistake made it 2-0 Smash Bros, and then Bean Zulo hit this triple to clear the bases to make it 5-0. Smash Bros were 1 run away from ending the inning via the mercy rule, and they would do that a couple batters later with this Zach Longo single. The quick barrage of 6 runs was more than enough for Josh Longo, as he would continue to grind away against the DX lineup. In the bottom of the third, this Chris Horwedel 2-run blast made it 8-0, and put Smash Bros within 2 runs of ending the game via the 10-run mercy rule. Later in the inning, this Zach Longo double brought in a run to make it 9-0. And then this double from Beans would score run number 10 to end the game. In Game 2, DX sent Sean Ryan to the mound, while Smash Bros stuck to their usual blueprint and started Zach Longo. And Game 2 would be a lot more competitive than Game 1. A lot more. Sean quickly retired the Longo brothers to start the game, but a walk to Chris Horwedel put a runner on base with 2 outs for Beans. The 2-run gritty gave Smash Bros the early lead, although DX would avoid any further damage. And in the bottom half of the inning, it would be the Executioner's turn to finally get their offense going. After a couple runners reached base with 1 out, Corey Kane hit this pop-up to right. The bobble by Beans loaded the bases, and Nate Cruz immediately made them pay. The single brought in a run to make it a 2-1 game, but like DX, Smash Bros avoided further damage. In the second inning, both offenses would strike again, first in the top half despite this Steve Tazi double play, Beans would bring in a run with his second triple of the series. And Josh would single up the middle for another run. The 2 runs is all Smash Bros would get, but it gave them a 4-1 lead. In the bottom of the inning, DX struck back after a pair of singles helped to load the bases with no out. Then with 1 out, Corey Kane worked a walk to bring in a run, and the next batter, Nate Cruz, did the same. Finally, Zach was able to get Sean Ryan to pop out, and then Steve Tazi to strike out to send the game to the 3rd inning with a 4-3 Smash Bros lead. In the 3rd, Sean pitched his best inning, getting 3 outs with relative ease. In the bottom of the 3rd is where the game turned and the intensity picked up. Way up. After 2 quick outs, Sean Ryan hit this single to start the rally, followed by another sighting of the Bobble Bug. Followed by a Corey Kane single to load the bases for Nate Cruz. The first pitch of the at-bat was fouled off and then kicked by Nate, which Smash Bros took exception to. As Zach and Nate jawed back and forth, the at-bat would take an explosive turn.
Yeah! Right on cue, 1-7! Right on cue, 1-7, let's go! Right on cue, kids! Right on cue, 1-7, let's go! Let's go! Right on cue, 1-7, come on, kids! Woo! Right on cue, 1-7, let's go! Come on!
Hey, what's the call? If the ball's rolling, he kicks it. Because he's rolling forward, and he's kicking it before.
Eventually, the muscle was brought in and cooler heads prevailed, but it's a reminder of just how intense and competitive this rivalry truly is. After the drama was over, the drama wasn't really over, as Sean Ryan and Steve Tazi singled to put 2 runners on. Before Zach buckled down and struck out Corey Kane to end the inning. But the grand slam from Cruz gave DX a 7-4 lead, and Smash Bros was now down to their last at-bat. Beans continued his hot performance with a 1-out solo shot to pull Smash Bros within 2. And the next batter, Josh Longo, singled to bring the tying run to the plate. Then after a walk to Zach Longo, Chris Horridell singled to load the bases. With the game seemingly slipping away, Sean did what he does best, and that's get DX out of a jam by striking out Beans Zulo for out number 2, and then Josh Longo to close out the game. After the chaos and drama of Game 2, Game 3 would somehow be the most dramatic game yet, as both the series and the Power Surge belt were on the line. And in the top of the first, Nate Cruz led off the game like this. After the solo shot, Smash Bros were able to recover, behind some good defense and some good pitching. In this Game 3, DX sent their 3rd different starter to the mound in the form of Captain Nate Cruz, who has basically taken over the role of being their ace. After walking the first two batters to start the inning, Nate was able to get Chris Horridell to pop out to Tazi, and got Beans to do the same. And got Josh to do the same again. The second inning was almost a carbon copy of the first, as Nate Cruz led off with a home run again. And once again, that would be all the runs DX got. And then in the bottom half, Cruz and Tazi retired all the batters again. With a 2-0 lead in favor of DX, the top half of the third would play out similarly to the first two, after an intentional walk to Cruz, and then this triple by Sean Ryan brought in the lone run for DX in the inning. Unfortunately for DX, Nate's third inning wouldn't go as smooth as the first two. After a walk to Josh and a double to Zach, put runners at second and third with no outs. A nice play at third by Sean Ryan got DX their first out before Bean Zulo stepped to the plate. The 3-run Oppo Blast tied the game for Smash Bros. But to Nate's credit, he got 2 more outs to keep the game tied. In the fourth inning, if either team could score, they would win. But neither team did, although Steve Tazi got damn close. As Sean Ryan closed the game for DX, the zeros on the board meant the game was still tied 3-3, and we would go to a swing-off to determine the winner of the game, the series, and the Power Surge belt. In the swing-off, after a couple of misses, this home run by Josh Longo put Smash Bros in position to win the game. As DX sent Sean Ryan to the plate, he had to hit a home run to continue the game.
Wow! An outside pitch right up the middle.
Holy shit.
After Sean's huge home run, the hottest hitter of the series, Bean Zulo, still had the chance to walk it off for Smash Bros.
Got a chance? No! We're going to sudden death.
Sudden death indeed. And after 2 rounds of misses, Sean Ryan stepped up once again
That one is foul.
and just missed. After Beans failed to walk it off again,
Right here.
Nate Cruz stepped to the plate in what was now the longest swing-off in league history.
That's out.
Home
They
run.
need to respond with a homer, otherwise DX wins. Zach must hit a home run here, otherwise DX wins.
Pop it in there for the boy.
Yo, Steve's gonna do it again anyways. Let's go.
Oh!
DX
Let's go.
takes game 3 and the belt.
Zach Longo comes up just inches short of extending the swing-off, and it's DX who will get the win, the Power Surge belt, and the bonus point. While Smash Bros does still take a point away in Game 3 for the swing-off loss. But the 2-1 series win for DX gives them the best record in the league at 10-4. But we have a very unique situation in the standings, something we will break down later in this video. Armbarn comes into this series as big favorites, while the Untouchables are big underdogs. And sometimes, that's just how things play out. It started in Game 1, when Armbarn captain Andrew Stone took the mound and was able to give them 2 innings of 1-run ball, working around 5 hits with help from his defense.
Get down. Hey, come on, guys. Nice. Yeah, switch the ball.
You see my hips?
Oh,
You
yeah.
see my hips?
Ah!
To the wall.
On the other side for the Untouchables, it didn't go as well, as Dakota Jackson took the mound and would get mercied in both the first and second inning to the tune of 13 runs.
Nice putt. I think you guys got our
Oh my.
spot.
That's bad.
That's a fair ball.
That one's on its way. Block-a time. I would love to do it. Like a core, like have 2 people on a team. Get down, ball.
Oh, nice catch, Nick. Nice catch, dude.
Oh! Off the cheek.
In the top of the third, Armbarn brought in Anthony Guidani to pitch, marking his first appearance on the mound this season. Down by 12 and needing to score at least 3 runs to continue the game, the Untouchables quickly loaded the bases with 1 out, behind a pair of walks and a Nick Ospelmeyer single. Guidani then got Jay Rozelle to pop up and should have ended the game with a double play. But he would end it 1 batter later, with this strikeout of Dakota Jackson. Armbarn take Game 1 13-1, and we move on to Game 2.
Game 1 in the books, and I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I am for real.
Game 2 started just like Game 1, just with a different pitcher on the mound for the Untouchables, as Nick Ospelmeyer would give up a mercy 6 spot in the first inning. And the inning was capped off by yet another bite from the bobble bug. Even with Armbarn throwing their number 5 pitcher in Anthony Guidani, it looked like Game 2 would be a runaway just like Game 1. But Nick only allowed 1 more run over the next 2 innings. And in the bottom of the third, with the Untouchables trailing 7-0, it looked like the entire series might be turned upside down. After Dakota Jackson led off the inning with a solo home run, in his next at-bat, he hit a 2-run shot to make it a 7-3 game. The home run sparked a rally for the Untouchables, with both Nick Ospelmeyer and Jay Rozelle singling to put runners on base. Before Jimmy Cole robbed Dakota Jackson of his 3rd homer of the inning for out number 2.
Oh, he robbed the home.
But Nick Ospelmeyer had his team's back and sent this 3-run shot over the fence to activate the 6-run mercy rule for the inning and pull the Untouchables within a run at 7-6. The momentum for the Untouchables towards a historic upset was short-lived though, as Armbarn's offense immediately went back to work. And with no mercy rule in the 4th inning, it was truly no mercy, as the Untouchables would struggle to get 3 outs, as Armbarn would pour on the offense to the tune of 13 runs, pushing their lead to 20-6. No team in the league would be able to erase such a big deficit. And as Guidani secured the last 3 outs, Armbarn put a bow on Game 2 and looked towards Game 3 for the sweep. Despite the Untouchables' upbeat attitude for Game 3, it sadly wouldn't go any better than the first 2. And as Armbarn captain Andrew Stone took the mound again in the top of the first, he would retire the side with ease.
That's all we wanted to hear.
In the bottom half, against the Untouchables' Dakota Jackson, Armbarn's offense picked up where it left off. This time it would be to the tune of 7 runs, highlighted by this 2-out grand slam by Jimmy Cole. As if things couldn't get any bleaker for the Untouchables, Armbarn decided in the 2nd inning to put their ace Jimmy Cole on the mound. Jimmy worked around this lone single by Dakota Jackson to give Armbarn 2 innings of scoreless ball. In the bottom of the 3rd, with Armbarn leading 7-0, they needed 3 runs to end the game, and they got one on this Jimmy Cole leadoff homer, and then another the very next batter as Anthony Guidani sent one over the fence for a 9-0 lead. Later in the inning, with the bases loaded and still needing just 1 run to end the game, Armbarn, in true form, got 4, with this grand slam from Guidani to end the game 13-0. The sweep for Armbarn brings them to 8-3 on the season, while the Untouchables drop to 0-11. As we take a look at the standings after an intense Slate 5, we see that the Savages dropped from 3rd to 5th after being swept by the Stunners in our feature series. And we also see that the Untouchables remain in last, and Dynasty, after a bye here in Slate 5, remain in 6th. But the real story is at the top of the standings, where the team with the best record doesn't actually have the lead. And that's because Smash Bros has 2 swing-off losses, each worth a point, and 3 bonus points for defending the Power Surge belt, which they just lost to the team that's only a point behind them in DX. And as we turn the page from Slate 5, we take a look at the full schedule for Slate 6. Starting off with a matchup of 2 teams going in opposite directions, when Armbarn, winners of 4 of their last 5, face the Savages, who have lost 5 in a row after their hot 6-0 start. And one of those wins included an opening day victory over this Armbarn squad. The second matchup is Dynasty, coming off of their bye in Slate 5 and facing a winless Untouchables team. On paper, this looks like a snoozer, but Dynasty is in a position where they absolutely have to sweep. And last season against this Untouchables team, it took them 6 rounds and a swing-off just to do that. The final matchup of Slate 6 between the Stunners and DX will be for the Power Surge belt, but it could be for much more. As we just highlighted, DX is hot on Smash Bros. Tails for the 1 seed, and with Smash Bros. On a bye in Slate 6, DX could officially be in first for the first time this season. Meanwhile, the Stunners' sweep of Savages in Slate 5 puts them in a position to legitimately compete for a top 3 seed if they can win this series. We're more than halfway through the regular season now, and as the standings tighten, so do the sphincters, as every game the rest of the way becomes increasingly more important. Folks, that's going to do it from the studio, as we remind you to please like this video and subscribe to our channel. For everyone here at Electric City Wiffle, I'm Mitch Hipshooter saying, see you Thursday for the Slate 6 feature series.
I switched insurance. I had